Ladies and gentlemen, welcome very much to the webinar. My name is Luciano Ciccone. I will be guiding you through how to audit with Nimonik app. So today we're going to be covering the mobile app as well as the web app, and we're going to just sort of put it all together by conducting an inspection on our website and then onto the mobile device. So when logging in for the first time, this is the page that you're going to see when entering Nimonik app. Today in particular, we're going to be focusing strictly on audits. Nimonik has a number of other solutions related to asset management, incident management, scheduling obligations, and as well managing your legislative monitoring requirements. So any curiosities or questions about those can certainly be welcomed at info@nimonik.com or through our 1-888-608-7511 telephone number, extension 1. Right, so let's begin. When logging in for the first time, these are the facilities that you will see. And in this case, this is related to my demo account, but on your account, all the facilities that exist for your organization will appear here. The secret of this is that these are folders. So however you want to organize your audit information, or possibly your assets or other items, would be managed with sort of a folder mentality in mind. So let's have a quick look at the ISO 9001-2015 checklist. As you can see here, the checklist details briefly the requirements for a quality management system within an organization. And with the help of this checklist, you can go through the different aspects of the standard, from the context of the organization all the way down through improvement, with different items that you can review that will allow you to assess the compliance of your ISO 9001 management system. Today, we're going to be doing an audit on a more simplified checklist related to safety. And the idea behind that is just to outline more of the features of Nimonik app than one would use on the ISO 9001 checklist. Suffice to say, this checklist is available for free for all our paying and trial account users. You simply need to go to our audit templates page, and you would simply select on the search bar 9001. What this will do is it'll pull up the ISO 9001-2015 free checklist, and as well we have other checklists available. We have about 1,500 checklists, of which I would say 80% are free. So if any of them are interesting, please feel free to make good use of them. Right, so now we're going to go ahead and start an audit from scratch. So we're going to create an audit from a template. So we're going to click on Audit Templates. And just like before, it's going to list all the templates that exist on our account. Specifically today, we're going to do the monthly safety audit checklist. And to do that, we're going to have to click on Create Company Template. Once you click on that, the Create Audit from Template page will come up. This will ask you to confirm the facility you wish to audit at. It'll ask you to confirm the template that you wish to use, in this case, the monthly safety audit checklist. You can give it an appropriate title, and then as well, you can select the relevant categories. What this means is that you're allowed to select some, most, or all of a checklist without necessarily being obliged to do any of those. So if, for example, today you really just want to have a quick look at PPE, you can simply select that category and begin your audit. So let's go ahead and do that. So the audit here has been built and has the proper questions outlined. Now, before we begin, were there any questions that I can answer before I continue? Looks like we got a question just here. And it asks if the free templates are customizable. So for example, can we put specific questions for our ISO 9001 along with the template questions? And that's from Martin Mitchell. Martin, that's an excellent question. And to answer that question, the templates are customizable, yes. The only thing that you need to do is you would need to start a new audit with that template. So you would select the template that you wish to customize. So we can grab this 9001-2015. And so when doing it, when beginning the audit, and we'll do that on this audit, once the audit's begun, you can click on Save as Template, and it's going to create a new template within the system for you. What this allows you to do is, and we'll use the example of the monthly safety audit checklist, is it takes that checklist that was available for free and gives you the option to customize the questions. That means you can outright delete them, you can change the context or the wording of the questions, or in the case that was posed, you can add additional items that perhaps would be more relevant to your operations or would be in supplement to your usual audit questionnaire. So that's how you could do it. And so it is entirely possible. It's a great question. Please keep them coming. We're going to go ahead and begin the audit. So we started the monthly safety audit checklist, and we're now going to, answer the first question. So the first question asks if proper foot protection is being worn as required. And you can see in brackets here that they reference steel-toed boots with metatarsals as well as no tennis shoes. So the answer to this question would simply be whether or not the people around you or the people you're responsible for are wearing their foot protection. So you have 6 answers available here. Unaudited, of course, being the standard default answer of just not being answered. You have conforming for items that do conform to requirements, non-conforming for items that do not. Warning is typically used for minor non-compliances, so perhaps most people are wearing their foot protection or the foot protection is available but is in need of replacement, would be a good example. One would use warning. As well, not applicable if for whatever reason foot protection is not necessary at your location, you can choose NA, and that removes this question from consideration. And finally, custom score allows you to apply a customized percentage of the score value of this question. Just to say, by default, Nimonik scores things at 100 points, but that is customizable as well. So the question just asked said, are the scores shown customizable? Now, it's a bit of a tricky question. So you are able to customize the value of each question. So if you want questions to be out of, let's say, 1 point, 10 points, 50 points, you want them to have different points assigned to them, that's all entirely possible. The one thing we don't offer currently that we're working on is customizing the amount of points awarded for each question. So by default, unaudited awards 0, conforming awards 100, non-conforming awards 0, warning would award 50, NA would remove this question from calculations, and custom score, as I mentioned, you would apply a percentage of your choice to the point value. So for example, if this was worth 100 and you typed in 80, it would give you 80%, which is 80 points. Another question was asked if the wording here can be changed. That too is possible. You can go to Actions, click on Edit, and you can see here the responses are customizable to whatever language you use within your organization. Some organizations use the words yes and no. Some organizations use a numerical value system. So whatever system works best that is somewhat in keeping with the values you see here as described, would be perfectly fine by us. The system is flexible enough to take that. So let's answer the first question now. It asks if proper foot protection is being worn as required. I will say that it is conforming. And we're going to move on to the next question, and we'll cover the different items that are within this box. The second question asks if proper eye protection is being worn as required. And again, references what would be proper eye protection. For whatever reason, if you need additional context, that is available through the details and additional info page. You can see here we have a bit of dummy text, but if any additional context was necessary, perhaps why eye protection is necessary or which law or regulation is referenced when requesting eye protection, that can be inputted there. So that provides additional context for your auditors. Let's say in this case that this item is non-conforming, and we can say that employees are not wearing proper eye PPE. So you have the requirements stated here. We have the assessment here, as well as our findings. Now, files will allow you to upload any context, any supporting evidence, any additional documentation that would be important between the requirement, so perhaps a policy as to why eye protection is necessary, or evidence. So for example, maybe a photo of people not wearing their proper eye protection. So that can then be uploaded in the files section. And the beauty of this is when the report is done, the photo automatically associates itself to the correct question. So if you do any of that work manually right now, that's an entire step that gets skipped over. Finally, we're going to issue a corrective action. And with corrective actions, that essentially makes someone responsible to fix this problem. In this case, employees are not wearing their proper eye protection. I need someone to take care of this, so I'm going to say issue proper eye protection and enforce usage. We're going to assign a responsible person, and in this case, that responsible person is any user in your organization that's part of the Nimonik app, and we're going to hit save. What this does is it sends an email to the responsible person indicating that a corrective action needs to be completed. So if we go into our inbox, you'll notice that this corrective action email has been sent asking the responsible person, me in this case, to correct this problem. I could click on complete it. This will take me into the system and it'll take me specifically to this one question. The benefit here is that a responsible person will not get confused as to what they're required to do. So in this case, we have the requirement, we have findings, likely we would have supporting evidence, and here the responsible person would come in and they would close out this corrective action. So we'll say that I've issued proper eye protection, I've done a few toolbox talks, I've had everybody sign a paper saying that they would wear it, whatever process I needed to do. And I can click on complete corrective action. But before I do that, let's say I did get people to sign a paper. I could upload that paper, take a photo of it, upload it to prove that people are now aware, and I can write that, people are now aware of their responsibility regarding IPPE as an example, and that photo would then act as supporting evidence. All this ties together to answer a question from beginning to end with as much evidence as possible. Are there any questions at this point? I'm going to pause again for 30 seconds, and during this time, I'm going to bring my mobile app on the screen. So any questions at this point, now is a great time. Okay, we have a question. The question states, corrective actions can only be assigned to users within Nimonik. What about external second-party audits? Can the corrective actions be assigned to an external party? Absolutely. To sort of unpack what I was saying before, anybody within your organization with an access to Nimonik, it was simply implied that these are people you would wish to have on Nimonik. You could have second and third parties on your account. For example, if you have an external consultant that you want to come in and occasionally audit with Nimonik, you can certainly invite them to your account and they can then conduct the audits under your account. So it's never a problem if anybody outside of your organization needs to come in, whether to review a report or to conduct an audit or to respond to a corrective action. All that is possible for external users. Okay, any other questions? They're more than welcome, but I will get started by showing how the app works. Oh, just in time, I got one more little question. It says, can we use the audit to audit our suppliers, for example, and assign corrective actions? That's another great question. The system can be used to audit your suppliers. We have a number of organizations that are using Nimonik to conduct supplier quality audits. So the configuration that you would choose to use is certainly up to you, but we can certainly have you and your supplier on the same account so that the supplier can see the results of their audits, but at the same time you can restrict their access so that they have no idea which other suppliers exist on the account. Anything is possible, and I think that this merits a further discussion after our presentation. So if you'd like to reach out to us, or I can reach out to you, just feel free to just send me a sign. So we have the mobile app in front of us now, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue the audit that we had started on the website. There we go. So this is the mobile app on our screen. So you would have to go to the App Store or Google Play and look for Nimonik Audit, and this is what you would open. So I'm just going to cover a few of the points that are here. For example, our settings. And the reason I'm showing this is because I'd like to show you that you're able to do your inspections offline. So if you don't have an internet connection, you can certainly utilize the offline feature. So turn off autosync, do the entire inspection offline, and then when you get back to your office, when you get back to an area with Wi-Fi, you can turn this back on, and all the data will will catch up and will synchronize with the server. I'm going to click on Audits now, and I'm going to continue the audit that we did on the website. So that's the monthly safety audit checklist. There we go. And you can see here that the questions are responded to accordingly. So the first question is compliant, the second question is non-compliant. Let's go to the third question, which asks if proper head protection is being worn as required. Let's say that this is also a non-compliance. So I'm going to click on the non-conforming button, and I'm going to state my findings. Now, a great feature of Nimonik is you're able to use Siri on your onboard keyboard to dictate your findings. So we can say that proper head protection is not available at this location. And you can see that my statement was transcribed perfectly. As well, you can take a photo from the device, and this is probably one of the key selling points for a lot of our clients, is that when you're inspecting, you can actually just take a photo right off of your device. I'm just going to take a photo of my thermos. Click on Use Photo, and the beauty of this too as well is you're able to annotate photos. So we've taken a photo here, but what are we looking at? So you can use this pencil tool to draw attention specifically to what a person needs to look at. This will eliminate the amount of time and guesswork that's needed to figure out what we're alluding to, and also gives you better control over the pictures you take. These annotations are then saved, and they are included in the final report. So that's effectively how you would audit with Nimonik on the mobile app. Once we're done all 5 questions, we can click on Complete. We can sign off on the report. This signature gets saved to the device, you can see. And we can then review the report either on our device and send it off through an email, or we can review it on the website, which is what we're going to do. So I'm going to click on Refresh. You can see all the data that I gathered has made it to the server instantaneously, and we can click on Report. Now, all the details that you see here, of course, are relevant to my demo account, but your logo would appear here, your facilities would appear here, your signature over here, and then the report as it is here. So you have your table of contents, summary of findings. You can see here it's a pretty effective report with some professional looking aspects. We have reporting, we have a graph, we have a scoring table, problematic items, corrective actions. So it's really a out of the box report that you can use and distribute. The idea behind this is that you don't need to retype the report and double the work that it is that you do. You can see detailed findings are available here as well. And finally, that photo that we have taken is available here. If any of this is perhaps too much, unnecessary, you can click on Customize Report and remove certain aspects that are not of interest or relevant. For example, you want to have a non-conforming report. So you may want to eliminate all the other statuses so that only non-conforming appears. And just for fun, I don't want the title page, and I don't care much for scoring. So you can see here, you can pare down and trim the report based exactly on the data that you need. And when you're done, you can download it as a PDF, you can download it as an Excel spreadsheet, or you can download it as a Word document, and all this can be saved externally. And that's how Nimonik is used to conduct inspections. I'm going to open the floor up to questions again, but this would be just about the end of our presentation. More than happy to go on a personalized tour with anyone who wants to maybe cover audits in greater detail, talk about asset management, incident management, or maybe some of the reports that you could use in order to make better sense of the data that you gather on Nimonik. For example, our company template audit trends report can gather all the data across multiple audits on the same template and feed you those results. And so the idea behind this is you can track trending and see how you're doing over time. So this is a valuable addition to the ability to gather data both online and offline, and produce professional looking reports. So that's the presentation that we have today. Thank you everybody for your time and your attention, and anybody who wishes to have a copy of the slides or a copy of the presentation, more than happy to make that available to you.